Thanks, Yolanda. I'll call the meeting to order. And just a reminder that October 16th to the 22nd is Local Government Week. And the first item is the territorial land acknowledgement. I'm echoing. Yeah. Mute. Yes. Turn it on. Okay, it's on now. Okay. Before our meeting gets underway, I'm still echoing. Oh, it's too high. There, I got it shut off. Before our meeting gets underway, I would like to formally recognize the traditional keepers of this land and specifically our neighbors of the Alderville First Nation with a formal territorial acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the township of Alnwick-Haldeman is located on the Mississauga Anishinaabeg territory and is the traditional territory of the Mississauga Anishinaabeg. The Township of Alnwick-Haldeman respectfully acknowledges that the Mississauga Nation are the collective stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. Thank you. I'm organized now. Item 3 on the agenda, are there any disclosures of pecuniary or interest or general nature thereof? Seeing none. Approval of the agenda. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular council session of Thursday, October 20th, 2022 be approved as circulated. Councillor Philip made the motion, second. Councillor Hogg, all in favor? Carried. Item 5 is a report from the fire department and Chief Dawson is in attendance. Be it resolved that the council of the township of Alnwick-Haldeman direct the treasurer to add the balance outstanding in the amount of $11,891.39 for the property identified as roll number 1450-116-020-30400-0000 to the tax roll to be collected in the same manner as taxes. And further, that council accept the fire chief's report on property identified as roll number 1450-116-020-30400-0000 to be received and filed. Have a mover, please. Deputy Mayor Gibson, second, Councillor Booth. Any questions or comments on this? None. Anything for the fire chief? Nothing. All in favor? Carried.
Yeah.
Bye. Item 6 is from the planning department and it's a report from Jennifer Current, senior planner, dated October 20th, 22, and it's regarding water modeling of the Grafton water supply. Be it resolved that the township of Alnwick-Haldeman retains CIMA Plus to conduct water modeling for the Grafton municipal water supply, and further that the costs be funded by the Water Service Department Charge Reserve Fund, and further that the senior planner's report be received and filed. Can I have a mover? Councillor Hogg, second. Councillor Booth. Any questions or comments for Jennifer? Councillor Booth.
Yes, through you, your worship. I'm wondering if we could send this report. I think we're just voting on it to receive and file, are we not? That's what it says there. I'm wondering if
Yeah,
we can
but
send
we'll
this
be-
report to the water committee. And I'll tell you why, and Mike can comment too. We addressed this at the water committee last month, or maybe it was 2 months ago. I'm not sure when the last meeting was. And we talked about the water modeling and who would pay for it. And we found out from Larry, from Lucy, that Coburg actually paid for the water modeling, but they charged the developers back so that it ends up coming from the developers. And he was going to get back to us to tell us more information about it. So we had sort of bantered it around and talked about it, but there was no decision yet to come from the water committee. So it's very informative. Thank you very much for the report. I just think it would be proper that if we can send this report to the water committee, they're meeting one more time, I believe, on the 9th. And then it can come back to the council of the day to then decide whether or not it's coming out of the users or the
Reserve.
developers are paying or whatever. I don't know
Okay.
if you want to comment too, Mike, or.
No, that's it. That's just my thinking exactly. Yeah, certainly open for a conversation.
Thank you. When I was reading it, I was wondering about that, or if the costs were going to be upfront. That was going to be my question. If the costs were going to be upfront by the municipality and then back to the developers. We'll let Jennifer answer.
Through you, Mayor Latchford. I actually met with Larry Saprika last week to discuss water modeling and what Coburg has done. And it's my understanding that Coburg prepared a water model for the municipality for which they paid. When each development comes on stream, the developers are required to prepare a water model segment for that portion of that portion. And that is to be incorporated into the municipal water model that the municipality owns. And it is that portion that the developers prepare and give to the town that they pay for. I don't believe that the developers paid for the entire original water model that would have encompassed the entire municipality. They pay for the portion that updates the comprehensive water model that then goes into the town, or the townships model. So you've got your sort of blanket water model for Grafton, and parcel A wants to be incorporated into that water model. So they have to prepare a water modeling exercise for that piece of property that is then incorporated into the larger model, and it will show the impacts on the greater system. The reason that I recommended that the development charges fund be used to pay for this study is that that's the reason that development charges are taken. Development charges are taken by the municipality to pay the growth-related costs associated with development and the studies required for the infrastructure. So that's why I'm recommending that the development charges fund be used to pay for the study, and that when the developers then come in to develop a piece of property, they have to update the model at their expense and that information is then provided to the municipality. But certainly, if you would like to take it to the water committee for discussion, that's fine. I think given the number of developments that we're proposing or going to be seeing in Grafton, that I think that this should be done sooner rather than later. The matter of a couple of weeks doesn't really matter. But we do have one small development currently before the municipality, and included in the conditions of draft plan approval, should draft plan approval be granted, could be a requirement to include data for the municipal water modeling study, should it be decided. But the report as it's written right now is recommending that they be retained. It's not just recommending that the report be received and filed. So if you want to just receive and file it and forward it to the water board, then then you'll have to do a different resolution than what the recommendation is.
Mhm. May I comment to the mayor?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Jen. That's good information. And I think that we would, as the water board, I can only speak for myself, but that helps me understand the thinking behind it. And it answers a couple of questions I didn't know the answer to. So that's, I think that's good information to take to the water committee. I still feel it should go through the water committee. But I'm much clearer on it now than I was 10 minutes ago,
When's
So-
your next meeting?
the 9th of
November.
November.
It was supposed to be yesterday, but due to the elections and everything going on, they postponed it to.
And then it would be council would be on the 17th after
So
that.
it'll be the next.
It'd be November 17th before it's at council.
Yeah.
So would they still be going to the water board meeting on the 9th?
Yeah.
For sure, yeah, until, what do we finish, the 14th or 15th in there? Okay. And so then it would come back to the first meeting of the next council.
Right, for
17th.
approval. Yeah, yeah, I'd appreciate it. I think, and I also appreciate Jen's explanation because it's pretty clear to me now how things go.
Okay, so are you under any kind of timeline? That work for you?
Through you, Mayor Latchford. No, that would work for me. I'm just, given the developments that we've got coming forward. I mean,
Sooner
a month
than-
isn't going to make a difference, but if we put it off 6 months, 3 months,
Yeah,
it needs to be acted on so that we can have the information that we need to make decisions on the applications before council, or that I anticipate will be coming before council.
okay. So then the last part of this, we would need to change it to further that the senior planners report be circulated at the water board November 9th for their
for
perusal,
discussion, and then they could bring it back, but I think.
and then it would come back. Okay. Yes,
Just through you, Mayor, just clarification. It's going to the water board for discussion and then a recommendation as to whether, like, back to council.
Yeah,
about
because
the
like Councillor
charges.
Phillips said, what Jennifer's saying wasn't explained to the water board. So I just didn't think it was fair that, we weren't given all the information from Larry at the time, but it makes clear what she's saying, but there will be, I'm sure there will be discussion because there's actual discussion amongst the members of what the development charge is actually for, because when you say growth related funds, some of that money could be put towards the new well, because that's growth related, right? And I guess the point for me is if Coburg was paying for it, and that's the implication we were given, but now I'm understanding something different. It was like, why would we have the water users pay for it? Like, and I guess the other issue is sort of, we're lame duck and we're talking about something that could cost over $50,000. It's looking from 30 to 50. So I just think it's not that much of a rush to send it back to the water board, let them make comments, and then they'll come to the next council, mayor, and they can decide what they're going to do. It has to be done, right? So it's just how they're paying for it.
okay. Are you good with that?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. And I think it's just, we want to make sure that it gets onto that, within 4 weeks or 5 weeks time onto that agenda for decision.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's further that the senior planners report be circulated to the Grafton Water Board November 9th and returned with their comments. Are you good with that? You're the
Or
sec-
recommendations.
recommendations?
Yeah, I'm sure the
Yeah.
water board we'll put it, we can get Yolanda to put it on the agenda and it can be decided at that time, and
Okay,
might even be good for Jennifer for you to attend maybe so that you can explain it too.
well, and this is Jennifer's report, so just for information for them and back, or recommendations since you've had the explanation.
If you feel comfortable going, Jennifer, I'm sure the committee wouldn't mind you being there to explain it.
Through you, Mayor Latchford, I would be happy to be there. I just have to check my calendar to make sure that I don't have any conflicts.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. So you're happy with that as the seconder?
Yeah, that's good.
Are you happy with that, Councillor Hogg, as the mover of the motion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Carried. Item 7 is administration report, and it's from Pat Kemp, acting clerk, on quotes for the scanner. Be it resolved that council of the Township of Almac Haldeman received a report from the acting clerk dated October 20th, 2022 regarding the purchase of a scanner printer for the building planning department. And further, that council concur with staff's recommendation to purchase the scanner printer from DOS Copy Center for a total cost of $16,146.57, which is including a 3-year warranty and HST. And further, that the scanner printer be funded from the modernization reserve. Mover? Councillor Hogg, second. Councillor Phil, who's going to call you Councillor Mike?
That'll work. Have them call worse.
Any questions or comments on that? Go ahead. Mike?
My only question is the same question that we always ask, and that is, were there 3 quotes on this?
Yes, sir.
Three quotes.
So it's in the report there, 3 quotes.
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry, yeah. Okay,
Just a question too, maybe you
Councillor
could
Booth?
answer was this a budgeted item? Or is this, because it talks about a report,
oh, yeah.
it says, council in March of 2022 on modernization funding, but it doesn't say. So was this originally in the budget or not in the budget?
I don't think it was in the budget, but it's been at council before. We've talked about it before, I believe. So, but it was not, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, I don't think it was in the budget.
Through your Mayor Latchford, no, I don't believe it was in the budget. It came up as a discussion dealing with records management and everything else that we have with the building and planning departments on the volume of paper that we have and how to deal with it. And it came up through those discussions.
Yeah.
And it was during the discussion of the modernization fund that we looked at it.
And the modernization fund, I'm not sure how much we have left in it, but
Yeah,
we can
I
spend
just-
from that account without it being budget.
I just heard from the treasurer that it was in the budget, just not the total value or whatever. So just not that value, so.
So can you tell us, Nicole, how much was in the budget for it? If it was a budgeted item and we find out that it's a little bit more, I don't have an issue with it. If this close to budget, we're asking that all of a sudden we need this type of printer or whatever, and we're just going to take it out of the modernization fund because it doesn't impact the budget, that's true, but it would have been nice for it to come to budget, right? If it was a known thing, but
Go ahead, Nicole.
Through you, Mayor, I'm just trying to find what that amount was. I know that the report that came to council earlier in the year, we did approve an amount, but once the quotes came back, it was beyond that, and I'm just
Yeah, it was in the budget for 8,000.
okay, so then I have no problem. If it was a budgeted item
yes,
and
8,000.
prices have escalated, that's the way it is, then my point was just, I didn't want to see it if it wasn't in the budget. So that's, I'm fine with it then.
Okay, so the next question is it 8,000 out of the budget and the remaining from the modernization? Is that the plan, Nicole?
So when the report came to council back on March 17th, council had already approved that $8,000 be taken from the modernization fund. So I think what we're asking now is that the full amount of the cost of this still comes from that modernization fund. So there would be no further impact to the levy itself. It would just mean a further draw from the modernization fund, for which I have verified there are still funds there to warrant that.
Okay, thank you. I just thought maybe we had budgeted in planning and building.
So
That's
I get-
good. I'm
could
good
I-
with that.
Could I just ask then, just clarification, so was it in the 2022 budget then, Nicole? Because you're saying we okayed it in March for the modernization fund. That wouldn't have been an actual budget line then for it. Like, was this printer in the budget line under the planning department or whatever, or no?
I'm actually just looking at that right now, Counselor Booth. I was under the understanding that we had, but I'm not specifically finding it at the moment. I can definitely give council an update, but I am not, I'm just looking at the planning budget and I'm not seeing it there. However, we did not budget for that modernization funding to be used for any other items. So I'm going to say Jennifer and Troy were both correct that it wasn't in the original budget. It was actually just an item that came back to council on March the 17th.
You're getting the nod from both of them.
Yeah, so it's something that the planning department and building department requires. Go ahead.
So through you, I think it makes excellent sense to have that printer and scanner in that department with the amount of work that's generated out of there. And I'm just wondering, there's a timeline for the modernization funding to be used by, correct? And how much is left in it after this purchase?
So through you, Mayor, I actually just recently looked into that. This portion of the modernization funding that we received actually does not have a timeline on it. With everything that was reported on March 17th and approved by council to be drawn from the modernization fund, and if this report is approved, we would still have $246,000 left in the modernization fund.
You, Nicole?
Good.
Right on the button.
Okay. So are we spending from the modernization now? Are you happy with that? That the scanner printer be funded from the modernization reserve at this time? We should be spending some of that money if we have opportunities. So you seconded the motion,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
okay,
happy with that.
and you're okay with that? Okay. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Carried. Item 8, communications. I'll just read the motion. Be it resolved that the following correspondence be received and filed. AMO Communications dated October 12th, 2022, re-AMO Policy Survey, Bill 3, the Strong Mayors Building Homes Act, 2022. AMO Communications dated October 6th, 2022, re-AMO Watch File, and AMO Communications dated October 13th, 2022, read the AMO Watch File. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Philp and Councillor Booth second. All in favor? Carried. Moving right along, we're on number 9. Announcements and notice of motions. Councillor Philp.
I have nothing to add today.
Councillor Booth.
Nothing either. Thank you.
Councillor Hogg.
I have nothing either.
Good, because I got about 4 things. Okay. I was at an announcement a week or so ago, and it was for community paramedicine, and it's for long-term care. So our area, Northumberland, is getting $7.5 million over 3 years for community paramedicine for in-home long-term care patients. So those are patients that are in their homes. They're on a waiting, they could be on a waiting list for long-term care homes or those who could be on a waiting list. So you're all aware that the paramedicine is they go right into the homes and check on these patients. And it's an excellent service. We have had it now for nearly 2 years. But this one specifically for seniors and long-term care. Also, the one that is in working now, the community paramedicine, they will still be active in dealing with short-term care patients or patients with disabilities or whatever that still need that service. So they'll both be going, but we were quite pleased to receive the 7.5 million over the 3 years. Item 2 is policing. We've had an email that the joint municipal police board should be or could be as early as 2023 or it'll be in early 2024 where we'll end up with one OPP board for not Northumberland because of Cobourg and Port Hope having their own, but the joint rural boards. So that was good news as well. Tonight is survival night. I was telling some of you, and that's where people have survived due to our paramedics getting to them on time and or basically bringing them back. And it's a nice event to go to. I'll be in attendance because it's my committee from the community health. And it's at 6 o'clock tonight at the Lions Center. November the 2nd, I'll be speaking to the federal electoral, I can't read my writing here, but anyways, it's the changes to the boundaries. It was supposed to be a couple of weeks ago, but we couldn't get on or get an appointment. So both Chief Dave Mowat and myself will be hopefully speaking on November 2nd to that. And the last one is, Mike and I were at our OPP meeting, Police Service Board meeting, and we asked about road closures for different events. And OPP told us that they don't close the roads, but what they do is they tell whoever needs to close the road what they need to do that. So it ends up being the owners of the road, whether it's county or whether it's township, about road closures for parades or other events. So I just thought I'd mention that. That's it for me. Deputy Mayor Gibson.
Thank you. So a lot of this next is around the library. So Mike, let me know if you know you've got anything more to add. And Nicole, I'm glad you're here because there was a question at the library about how soon after the month closes they could receive financial statements. And I thought, like, we met this week, they had the August 31st financial statements, which to me was timely. You know, you've got you're pulling in all your data and you're producing the statements, and then it's out to them the next month. So I guess I just want to reassure the library board that timeliness is what is appropriate in, you know, when you're dealing with several departments.
So I have in my calendar, I think it's the week after or 2 weeks after the end of the month that the library board is provided with the previous month's financials. So I know you were mentioning August, but I know September has been given to Elaine probably a week or two ago. However, I have cautioned her in past that when that is provided, we may not even have all the invoices in for that prior month. So when we get into a quarter, and I'm going to be producing quarterly financials to council, I always send an updated copy for the quarter, just because it will have more of the current information in there. So we have been striving to provide that on a timely basis. However, it may not have everything in there when it's.
Yeah. I thought it was timely, like, I thought like mid-October when you were, you've provided you've closed that financial, like you've closed August off and provided the statements. So I just wanted to reassure them that if they're dealing with other information, it's not going to be as accurate.
Correct.
Yeah. The other thing is there's still a lot of confusion around the development charges. And, I guess maybe moving forward, that would be such a great in-service for different boards, or to be able to kind of get a handle on that.
It might be a worthwhile thing to let the board members know when we bring the development charges back to new council, because
Yeah.
we will, I expect we will have Clark Consulting do a presentation again, and maybe give them a little bit more insight into what goes into those calculations and the distribution of the development charges that come in to the different departments. Because I know that's one of their concerns about, how much of that is distributed to the library versus the other parts of the municipality.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up because we hear it fairly frequently. So, their next meeting is November 14th, and I would be given to understand that Mike and I will be attending that,
I believe so.
still as council representatives. So that's right. Thanks a lot, Nicole. Okay, and the other thing that they brought up, although it's not specifically related to the library board, but they're involved in, is they're looking for an update on street closures, as the mayor talked about, for the December 3rd outdoor market. They were wondering if it had come to council yet.
Jen Steen is in the audience right now. Do you want to speak on that, Jen? So it'll be at next council,
At the,
November 3rd.
4th. For
3rd or 4th.
Okay, good. And the other one is the West Northumberland Physician Recruitment Committee has a replacement for their recruiter, which is Linda Kay. So Linda's most recently retired from her role as donor relations and communications with Community Care Northumberland. She's taking this on. So I think, Nicole, they're going to go on last year's budget, but I've stressed that they need to get something in writing to you so that they can get into that budget process. So I think I've passed that along to Linda. So I think we'll just keep an eye on and make sure that it comes in hopefully before our next council meeting, so I can follow up on it. So, and I'll probably be attending that next West Northumberland meeting also. And then they were looking for, I don't know what your plan is, Troy, for appointing council to committees and boards, but they were really hoping that they could make up for some lost time that over the last few months and get notice of who's going to be sitting on that board.
Okay.
From council.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Linda Kay will be excellent. She's almost done a full circle there, because when I first got on it, she was co-chair. So she's familiar with it and whatnot, and be good. And it's a nice committee to be on. And usually their budgets are over 4 years. So are we into the 5th? Do you know? Are we into the 5th, or are we still, or is this the 4th? Doesn't really matter, but that's how we did it before, was one budget over 4 years. Same amount each year for every municipality. Okay. Anything else
I have a few words.
before I close it? Oh, yeah, there you are.
There I am.
I missed you.
Hmm.
Troy Gilmore has a few words.
All right, through you, Mayor, thank you. On behalf of staff, I do have a few words. Just want to say, council, thank you. But as your council term is about to come to an end, and on behalf of the township and staff, I would like to recognize the dedication and passion that you each have shown over the past 4 years. On behalf of staff and myself, I want to express my sincere thank you to Mayor Latchford, Deputy Mayor Gibson, Councillor Phillip, Councillor Booth, and Councillor Hogg. In my 23 years of municipal experience, it has been said that a councillor should have a few distinct qualities in order to achieve success. Some of these qualities are the love for the township, willingness to sacrifice a lot to serve the community, the ability to always do what you believe is right, to protect the township as a group and individually, and always do your best to make it better. I can honestly say, as Chief Administrative Officer, you each have done those qualities, have those qualities. There are many things that the public does not see that go on behind the scenes. You should be recognized for making those tough decisions during a council term in which we saw unusual challenges due to the pandemic. Furthermore, on any given council agenda, you made decisions that impacted not only the present, but the future of our township. To do this, you had to attend council meetings, committee meetings, public meetings, and public events. And to top it off, in order to prepare for all these decisions you had to make, you were given a council package many times with 200+ pages. So on behalf of myself and staff, we really wanted to say thanks, and you'll be all missed for many reasons. So we do have a small gift for each and every one of you on behalf of staff. Don't read into too much, but it is wine. We'll bring out the baskets. I will say on the wine glasses, so everyone knows what's on the wine glasses, there is an inscription, and it says, "May you be proud of the work you did, the person you are, and the difference you made." Thank you. I would like to really thank Diane Nichols, who really put these packages together. Without Diane, well, I would have struggled with it. So thank you, Diane. And we do have cake for after, and I want to thank Pat Kemp for picking up the cake. So anyways, again, council, on behalf of staff, thank you so much.
Thank you, all of you. CAO Troy Gilmore and all our staff, and we certainly appreciate this. It's been our honor and pleasure to serve the municipality. We've made some great friendships, not only locally, but across the province as we've gone to a few conferences. We weren't able to go the last couple of years, but we have a lot of pride in this municipality, and we know that the next council will have the same, and we wish them the best. And I'm going to let each councillor have their own say, starting with Deputy Mayor Gibson.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting this. I was preparing for a big wrap up on November the 3rd, but I do want to say that I probably got as much out of it as I put into it. And, I think it is a calling. Felt very supported by all the staff. So I want to thank all of you for, answering questions, being available after hours. And I think that is something that the public has little idea of, is what a hardworking, we talk about a hardworking council, but you're only as good as the staff behind you, and how much time and effort staff give into making this run effortlessly. And I think there's great credit that goes to Troy for building a good team with that. And, you know, many hands make light work. So everybody's done their part. I've really enjoyed getting to know everyone. It's been an amazing few years. And yeah, I'm going to leave it richer than what I came into it. So thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Phil?
You know, when I think about it as an educator, I think about the learning, and my learning here has been a pleasure. And it was a very steep curve when I started, and my fellow counselors and both mayors were very supportive of getting me on that learning curve, and the staff was the same. Always felt comfortable when I came in and asked a dumb question, and I always got the answer with a smile. And that goes a long way to helping you do your job as a counselor, because you realize that you're part of the team. And, you know, team is what it's all about. As a deputy mayor and the mayor have said, you know, it doesn't happen without the whole team. And the team has had challenges all the way along, for sure. There's been a lot of staff growth and change. And amid that, I feel that the common goal was preserved, and that the quality was still very much there, and in fact improved upon. I can remember a conversation I had in the driveway with Troy a long time ago, saying that, you know, I felt he had what it took, and that it's a goal that he should proceed with over time. And, you know, he's met those goals. So thank you. And I appreciate the gift. And, you know, I pass on to my next counselor.
Thank you. Wow, two nice speeches. I'm not a person to make speeches. I thought when Troy said he was going to give us a gift, I saw 5 big binders back there. I thought he was going to tell us to read through them again in the next week. Well, I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank Troy also, and the staff. It's been a pleasure working with the staff, and also with my fellow councilors and the mayor. We haven't always seen eye to eye, and there's been heated meetings sometimes, and, you know, usually me leaving in a huff sometimes or whatever. But when you think about it, it's always for the good of the town. And whether we agree or disagree, I can say it's been a pleasure working with this council. I wish everybody the best, and thank you very much to the staff for all your hard work. It's been great working with you. Anytime I've had questions, or like Mike says, you know, you go down and I ask Jennifer or somebody else or the treasurer a stupid question, they take the time to sit there and explain it, and sometimes have to explain it twice, but then you understand it. So I just wanted to say thank you very much.
Thank you. Counselor Hogg?
Okay. I'd just like to thank Troy and all Jennifer and all the staff. Yeah, I've been here almost 3 years, and I just love the way I was accepted, and I just hopefully we can keep the township in the way we're going, and everybody get along good and do a good job. Thanks.
Thank you. And the other thing I can add, and you know, we did get into some arguments at times, and that's democracy, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But we always left friends, and we came back friends, and we didn't have any changes in that. So that's one of the best things about this council as well. And I thought it was somebody's birthday.
Well, it is my anniversary today.
Oh, happy anniversary.
I thought, how did they know?
Oh, so now I gotta get back to the agenda, the boss is saying. Whew. Item 10 is approval of the confirming bylaw. Be it resolved that bylaw number 114-2022, a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the regular session of council held on Thursday, October 20th, 2022, be read and deemed passed this 20th day of October 2022. I'm a mover. Counselor Philp and Counselor Booth, all in favor? Carried. And the motion to adjourn at 1:16, be it resolved that the regular session of council on Thursday, October 20th, 2022 be adjourned at 1:16 PM. Mover? Sherry, second? Jim, all in favor? Carried. Thanks, everyone. Stay for cake.
Okay, now that I'm off camera, there's a little bit of a typo in your wine glasses and I can get them fixed for you. And that's 100% my fault, so.